Hello everybody, my name is Joe O'Neill. I am a licensed funeral director here in London, Ontario, Canada. Today is the 8th of July 2020, and with COVID-19 going on around here and everywhere in the world, I want to talk to you about a concern I have over surgical masks. I'm not going to talk to you about N95 masks or full face respirators or anything else like that, because I could be talking for hours. Also, everything I tell you could be changed within 5 minutes of me putting this on the internet. Without a single word of exaggeration, excuse me a second, dry throat, air conditioning. As you can see, this is my addiction. For those of you wondering how those of us in funeral service are getting through COVID-19, it's very simple. Coffee, prayer, and whiskey. So here's the coffee. They made that stuff in intravenous bags to be even better. And yeah, so I have a great concern over what's the so-called surgical masks that are being sold in stores and on the internet everywhere. Because they're called surgical masks, but a lot of them sure are not. Now, everything I tell you could be changed. One of the problems we're dealing with here in funeral service and medicine here just in Ontario, Canada, is the government will come out and say, this is the law or this is the policy today. And then tomorrow, they might come along and say something totally different. Without a word of exaggeration, I've seen laws and rules and regulations completely reversed and do a 180-degree turn. We go from black to white, just like that, in 24 to 48 hours. So, if anything I tell you doesn't make sense or doesn't seem true, you could be very much right. The other thing is, I'm talking to you in terms of Canadian standards, Canadian laws, and Canadian prices. Now, to put things in perspective, one Canadian dollar is roughly equal to $1 Australian, bounces up and down, and $1 Canadian. Well, I'll put it to you this way: if you were from the United States and you took $1 American to a Canadian bank and said, I want Canadian money, they would hand you back $1.35 Canadian. Now that rate varies up and down and up and down. I mean, 5 days after you read this, we could see a crash in either dollar and I'd be completely wrong. But as of today, roughly. Now, surgical masks. This is a level 2 surgical quality mask from a certified medical supplier, Maxell Industries, who are based in St. Thomas, Ontario, Canada. We're a half-an-hour drive south of London. And I've been dealing with them for almost 20 years. I buy everything from them. I buy cleaning agents, germicidal soaps, hand sanitizers, my gloves, you name it. They supply mostly the dental community, but they supply veterinarians, they supply funeral homes, and they supply small medical clinics. If you're looking to call them and order stuff, if you're not already an established client, you may have a hard time dealing with them because they're being overwhelmed like everybody else is. The other thing is, these surgical quality masks, I've got an order in right now. I'll be lucky to see it in 30 to 60 days. Anything that's surgical quality or real stuff is still on back order. Now, before COVID-19 hit last year, I could buy masks like these. A box of 50 would sell between $10 to $15 Canadian, give or take. We have a sales tax here in Canada called the HST, and the rate varies province to province. In Ontario, it's 13%. So a $10 box of these things with sales tax would be $11.30, 13%. The cost of the surgical masks are roughly $35 a box, give or take, and they're bouncing up and down when you can get them. The cost of these surgical masks, as you can see, nice high quality. See that broken string? Isn't that wonderful? That's part of my problem. These are now available in the stores in London and online, and they sell for roughly $40 Canadian a box. So more money than the actual surgical quality mask, plus taxes, of course. Need another hit, sorry. Now, back in April and early May, when nobody had any masks of any kind. I kid you not, no exaggeration, I saw these very masks going for $100 Canadian for 50. No exaggeration, $100 Canadian for 50, when last year I was buying them for $10 to $15 for 50. So even now we're paying $40 a piece for these things. Now, surgical masks. If you were to phone up Maxell or any other supplier and you say, I want a box of surgical masks or a case, they would say, do you want level 3, level 2, or level 1? That's how they're sold here in Ontario. Level 3 is a mask that a doctor would wear while doing a procedure. For example, let's say you went to a dentist and you had to have your cavity drilled out. The dentist and the dental assistant, nurse, anybody would be wearing level 3 surgical masks while they're doing work on you. If you phoned up your doctor and you said to your doctor, Doc, I got sinus infection, I think I might need some antibiotics, likely that doctor and the nurse who admits you into the doctor's office would be wearing a level 2 surgical mask. Here in Ontario, before COVID-19, especially during cold and flu season, they would put a box of masks out and they would say, if you're sniffling or you got some coughs or anything, please put on a mask. And those would generally be level 1 masks. Now, so level 3 doing surgery, level 2 inspections, level 1 general use in the medical setting. Again, this is all across the board, and even before COVID-19, this was not universal. This is general. I know you can all find exceptions. And since COVID-19, it's been grab any damn thing you can and pray to God at last it works. So that's what's going on right now. Now, there's 3 big problems with these masks. They're being sold everywhere in stores and Amazon, you name it. First of all, notice my strong strings. These 2 masks here, I pulled them out of the box, and just as I went to put on, the strings snapped. 2 now, out of about 10 so far. So that's a 20% failure rate for me personally. The second issue with these masks, and something I can't demonstrate on video, is when you feel them, the quality of the material is very, very different. You can tell that this is a much better material than this. They may all be 3-ply or 4-ply, but the material being used is definitely not the same thing, okay? Definitely not the same thing. The third problem is the nose wire. See the nose wire? See the Maxell one? You bend it, stays. This one here, it doesn't quite stay so good. And this one here doesn't stay at all. See that? This one here has got a very short wire. That's the length of the wire. This one here, the wire's a little longer, it bends a little bit better. And the Maxell one, the good one, has the longest wire of all, and it's the most flexible one. And the other thing I can tell you is, even though you only wear these masks once, and whether it's for 5 minutes or 4 hours, and then you toss them, you can repeatedly bend the Maxell, and it doesn't break on you. I can tell you from experience, I don't want to do it here, that these, if I bend them too much, they will break, or they simply stop bending and holding their shape. And some of them, it doesn't even bend at all. So, why is that important? I'm going to show you a little trick. You know how when you put on your glasses, and you put on any mask, your glasses steam up? Something I've learned over the years. Now, this may not work for all you, and it may not be comfortable, but when you put on a pair of glasses, usually you put them tight to your forehead. See? Right here. Just. So, here's a trick I taught myself years ago. You put on the mask, you bend it with the good wire. See how the wire just molds right to your face? Isn't that nice? Can't do that with these cheaper ones. And you take the glasses and you put the glasses on top of, you put the fabric up high, right to the crest of your nose. Don't wear it like this, okay? No, you wear it like this, right up as high as it'll go. And you put the glasses right in front. Now, here I am talking to you, wearing a mask. Do you see me fogging up at all? Now, what I'm doing though, is the glasses are not tight to the forehead. They're a ways a bit. And I realize this will not be comfortable for all of you, and depending on the prescription you have, you may not be able to wear your glasses like this. However, generally speaking, see how hard I have to blow to fog up my glasses? me show you something here with the really cheap mask. As you can see, it's not holding. Look at that. Ooh. Try it up here. See, even putting my glasses on, look at that. Don't even have to hardly try. Put on the better mask that molds to your face. Again, this is not perfect, okay? This is not a, but even tight. Let's put it tight to my forehead when I talk. See, I'm blowing very hard. No, let's do this. Try one more time. See the difference? Glasses hardly fog up. So, not only are these actually safer, they're better for not fogging up your glasses. And that's the best way I can dramatically demonstrate the difference between these true surgical quality masks and these pieces of garbage. I wouldn't even call these level 1, I'd call them level 0, maybe level -1. Given the times that we live in, any mask is better than no mask. But there's a lot of crap showing up out there, a lot of garbage. I mean, and what bothers me again, these are level 2 surgical masks. I forget the exact cost. They're around $35 Canadian for 50, and that's buying them in bulk and pre-ordering them. These things I can pick up on any local store now. Everybody seems to have them. They're around $40 Canadian. Again, tax is extra. And what a pile of garbage they are. Just a pile of garbage. Especially when 20% of them I can't even wear, the strings break on them. So be very, very careful buying your masks out there, because I don't know if you can actually test them ahead of time. They all come in sealed plastic packages and boxes, but not all things are created equal. One last comment I'll make is that for my own personal use, here in the province of Ontario, Canada, by provincial law, all funeral homes, everybody in the funeral home, staff and visitors, clients, must wear a mask. It doesn't matter what your local municipality says. The provincial law is, you're coming into funeral home, staff wears a mask, people wear a mask. So, for purposes of law, this is good enough. What I personally do is I've bought a couple of good cloth, very good cotton, washable, reusable face masks. I use them when I'm greeting people at the door instead of one of these. They're washable. They actually save money compared to these damn things. And they look a little nicer. And when I go to grocery shopping or I go to a pharmacy, I wear my cloth mask. When we as funeral directors have to attend to a death, I'm wearing a respirator, half face or full face respirator with N95 pre-filters on the cartridges. And when we're embalming bodies, everybody here in the funeral home has their own personal full face through 3M respirator with cartridge and N95 pre-filters. So we don't fool around here because we've run into some nasty situations. I've personally run into 2 situations myself here where I attended to death. I did the transfer of the body myself, and I was told after the fact that COVID-19 was involved. In both cases, I was in full PPE, which stands for personal protective equipment. I mean, head covering, eyes protected, full face respirator, full clothing, everything. Thank God I was, or I would have been ended up in quarantine. So I don't take any chances. These I would not wear if I was attending a death that had N95. I just simply wouldn't do it. That's not what they're for. These are more or less meant to protect you or the doctor or somebody else from coughing on somebody. They will, of course, give you some protection. Any mask, even the cheap pieces of garbage, are better than no mask, and they will provide some protection. But if you want true virus protection for breathing stuff in, then you're probably looking at an N95 mask or a respirator. And the last comment I'll make is I have a full face respirator, and it's actually easier to breathe and talk through than one of these. Oh, one other thing I should mention. One of the negative side effects of working in funeral service my whole life is I have an allergy to both formaldehyde and latex. Never had those before. Well, I had the latex one developed over the years. Some of these masks, some of these no-name cheap masks will make use of latex in them, and you got to be careful about that. When I buy surgical quality masks from people like Maxell, they're certified 100% free of latex. So if you got a latex allergy like me, that's very important too. And that's why for my own personal use, I'm using a cloth mask, and my full face respirator is a special one. It's 100% silicone. There's no latex in it. Very expensive, but again, you got to protect your health. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, email me, and if you like this, maybe I'll do a few more on some of the other stuff that's going on. Take care, have a good day, be safe.